It's January 26th as of the day I'm recording this video, and I was on a coaching call with a client last week talking about marketing budgets and hitting like the big number at the end of the year. And we talked about a whole bunch of different pillars and a whole bunch of different lead generation and conversion rates and CRMs and like YouTube and blog and all of that stuff. But there was one thing that came from this call, and it was the math of how you digest and hold everything accountable to marketing in 2026. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the math of exactly how to hit a monster goal and boil it all the way down to pretty much a cost per click. So I'm going to share my screen, and I will give you, if you guys want this little cheat sheet, you can always take a screenshot of it. It's nothing crazy, but if you want to do this in your business, what I think you're going to find from this video is that growing a business to almost any GCI is really just math. And it's, do you have a mathematical formula that you want? And are you willing to hold that accountable to get there? So let's say, and I'm going to give you, hopefully I won't use him by name, but he'll see this. And I'm going to use his exact numbers because I wrote them down all in my little daily coaching guide here. And I'm just going to take what I wrote down to that guide. I'm going to give you exactly what we talked about. So if we want to build a business that prints $1 million in GCI per year, this is the mathematical formula to get there. Now, in this case, the average sales price was $515,000, and the commission percentage, that's what COM is 2.5%. We just want to keep that like really simple. So if we multiply $515,000 by 2.5%, the number that I come up with, if my calculator is the same as yours, is $12,875. So you need to know that every single time that I get a client based on my average sales price in my market and the average commission that I charge, I'm going to get about $12,875 per deal. Now, we're not going to talk about expenses or brokerage splits or advertising dollars. Well, actually, we're going to talk a lot about advertising dollars, but we're not going to talk about expenses as they pertain to gross and net revenue. This is purely, how do I build a business, assuming I have no COI, assuming I'm never going to cold call, assuming I'm never going to door knock, assuming I'm never going to do an open house, like, which we're obviously going to do some of those things, right? But this is like, I have nothing and I want to buy 100% of my business through inbound marketing in 2026. That's what we're putting together right now. So it's important to understand that every deal in this case is worth $12,875. And so if we take $12,875 and we divide that, or divide $1 million by that, we're going to come up with about 78 transactions. Okay, so this specific person needs to do 78 deals. I didn't do this in my calculations, but that divided by 12 is probably somewhere around 6.5 deals a month, right? So in this market, which is a very middle of the road market in the United States, at 6.5 transactions a month at $12,875 per deal, that's $1 million business that you could be doing right now. It's not crazy to think that number, can come true. So I'm going to assume that you got to go on a lot of appointments, right? A lot of showings. Maybe there's a little bit of Zillow in here, that those numbers are not factored into this, but we got to go on a lot of appointments to hit that 78 deals. So we're going to multiply that by 3, and the number I come up with that is 234 appointments. And again, I'll take my phone. Probably should have wrote this in here before, but we'll divide 234 by 12. That means you need to be going on about 20 appointments a month. If you work 5 days a week and not weekends, or maybe you take 2 days off, it means you need to go on 1 appointment every single day. So we could stop there and say, cool, just got to go on 1 appointment every single day and I hit the number, but we need to keep going, right? So we need to know, like, okay, well, I understand that to make $1 million, we need 78 deals. I need to go on 3 appointments, which is 234, but how do I get those appointments? And then where do we get that number back? So here's the number that I wrote back. Of all the leads that come in, I'm going to assume that 6.75% of them that come in, you're going to schedule an appointment with, which means every 100 leads you generate, you're going to go on about 6 to 7 appointments. Now, remember, you're only going to convert about 1 out of 3 of these appointments. So we want to be really clear that when a lead comes in, I want to get you like in person as quick as possible, because that's when I have the ability to actually walk you through the process of buying or selling a home. So if I take 234 appointments and I divide that by 6.75%, I come up with 3,466 leads. Okay, so this is how many that we need to do. Again, if we divide that by 12, I think that's going to be somewhere around 200 and something per month. 3,466 divided by 12. Yeah, it's 288. I'm going to say, or 288 leads per month, which is not a very unattainable number. That's a very, like, a lot of you guys are already generating that number right now. You just may not have the systems to be able to convert that at a very high level. But if we divide our registration rate, right, this is the amount of people that are literally coming to the website. I'm going to assume that you're getting like a 4% registration rate. Now, I don't mean like homes for sale, like, give me your email and I'll send you a list of homes for sale. I don't think that's content marketing. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm saying that shouldn't be the primary thing that you do, because that creates a business where all you do is like chase people over and over and over again. And trust me when I tell you, that is no fun. You don't want to set up that business. It's exhausting. And more importantly, it's not sustainable. So if we take 3,466 and we divide that by 4%, we need to get, let's talk about how many clicks we need to get. 86,666 clicks per year. And again, if we divide that by 12, it's probably going to be somewhere around like 7,000 something, 86,666 divided by 12. Yeah, that's 7,000, or I'm going to say 7,222 per month. If you divide that by 30, that's only 240 clicks a day. Now, when I say clicks, I mean like literally content landing page views, whether you're sending them to a blog, a YouTube video, a podcast. This is all paid. None of this is organic. And by the way, you should be doing organic, but organic takes a while, and you got to learn editing features and a whole bunch of stuff. So I'd rather you just go out there and buy the traffic, get the traffic to the content, hope the content resonates, and then ascend them correctly. In another video, I'll walk you through exactly how that content structure needs to look. This is just a financial view of how to get them from never knowing who you are to knowing who you are to trusting who you are or liking who you are to becoming an appointment, right? So if we take our registration rate, and that's so many clicks, right? I'm going to assume that you're getting somewhere around, if you're doing really good, you're going to get somewhere between, like, I would say 24 cents to 55 cents per click. So if we're getting 24 to 55 cents per click, the number that I came up with, or like the median budget, if we look at all of our real estate campaigns historically, we average around 0.36 or 36 cents per click. I'm going to say average right there. So if I multiply $8,666 by 30 cents a click, that means my annual marketing budget is $31,200. If I divide that by 12, it's $2,600 a month. So let's look at this backwards really quick. If I spend $2,600 a month and multiply that by 12, that's my annual digital inbound marketing budget, which is about 32 grand. If I take 32,000 and I average 36 cents a click, I'm going to get about 87,000 clicks, which is right here. If I get 87,000 clicks and I convert 4% of them, say convert, then that means I'm going to get about 3,466 leads. If I take those 3,466 leads and I convert 6.75%, not to a deal, to an appointment, I'm going to get 234 appointments. If I'm really good and I have a 33% conversion rate on those 234 appointments, I'm going to close 78 deals. If my average commission check is $12,875 at 2.75%, that means I'm going to make $1 million a year. So here's what I would do if I was in your business, and I'll put this up again so you guys can screenshot this at the end. But here's what I would do if I was in your business. I would come up with a number that you want to do. I would use these same assumptions that I'm using right now, and I would say, okay, what is all the content that I can create that I can take paid traffic to and drive to on social meaning Instagram, Facebook, maybe Snapchat, YouTube, Google Display. I want to cover the entire internet in my market as much as I can. I want to teach people what it means to buy and sell real estate in my specific market. This is really important. We don't want to create organic content and talk about Chick-fil-A and McDonald's and new parks and stuff like that. That does not convert. Gets a lot of likes, gets a lot of shares. It will not convert to real estate clients. We need to educate people what it takes to break records when selling their home and how to identify homes that aren't on the market in your local market so that you're showing them why you're different than everybody else, right? Break everything down as small as you can, meaning like don't talk about the 19 things on a home inspection report you need to be worried about. Say like what happens if the AC comes back faulty on the inspection report. One specific topic with one specific, I'm either selling real estate or I'm buying real estate. We're going to drive traffic to those, and hopefully on that blog post or in that YouTube video, you have conversion events like a lead magnet or schedule a call, and again, we'll create another video around this. The more that you do this, you're going to find that if we go back to the screen share and you're like, well, the only thing that I want in 2026 is more appointments. And that's cool, but you can't get more appointments if you don't focus on how many people see your content. I would actually argue that the 8,666 clicks that you get to whatever marketing medium you're using is the most important metric you should be paying attention to, because the more, forget about know, like, and trust. Like, erase that from your memory. That is a term that Madison Avenue came up with years and years and years ago to try to quantify what it means to advertise in modern day, right? At the end of the day, you've got to be a really good real estate agent. You've got to have a little bit of charisma and optimism and all that fun stuff. But at the end of the day, people work with who they know, period. That's why bad agents get deals, because that was the person that client knew, or they felt that they needed to know because they had some level of a personal relationship with them in the past. So our main goal, sure, like and trust are very important metrics of that formula. But the main thing, if you had to put like them in order, it would be know, like, then trust, because trust is the lagging indicator of somebody that you know. You can't trust somebody you don't know. So that 86,666 clicks is the most important metric on this entire sheet. And once you get those clicks, you're going to see exactly, if you're tracking digital marketing and you're actually paying attention, information, you'll see like, okay, cool, I ran this ad. My cost per click was lower than Steve told me it was going to be. So the ad must be doing well. I must have hit on the content, but they went to the page and they stopped there. So what's wrong with the page? Where are they missing on the page? Okay, well, maybe the video may have been too long. So do I shorten the video? Okay, let's test that. Cool. Well, maybe I need more written text because maybe somebody clicking on this at work can't watch a video. So am I articulating the text that supports the video so that they can get the same value by reading the text than watching the video? These are like little tiny things that most people just don't get. Video, like you guys are watching right now, video 100% works, but it is not the easiest medium to consume. Written word is actually the easiest medium to consume. Podcasts are really good, but you got to remember, in order for somebody to listen to a podcast, they either have to have it on speaker, in their earphones, or in the car. And if you look about the total amount of time throughout your day where you have the ability to put something on a speaker, in your ears, or driving in the car, it's not that much time, right? People don't have that much time to do it. So you're taking a really, really good medium and you're limiting your ability to get that out to the masses. So my suggestion would be a combination of a video. And if you're watching this video on YouTube or on our site, you're seeing exactly what I'm talking about. And then take the transcription of that video and make a long form newsletter that literally walks everybody through everything that you talk about in the video. And if you're thinking like, well, I don't want to do that because if I write it, they won't watch the video. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they watch the video or not. The only thing that matters is that we drive enough traffic to the main marketing medium you want to focus on, which 100% should be a website that you own. If I come up with an effect when I'm editing this video, I'll make this bigger. But this should be, I can't say enough, this should be a website that you own. It should not be on anything you don't own. Now, you can build it on a site like Lofty or any of those, and then if you choose to go, your own custom site, you can always export that to the blog, which would be okay. So I'm not saying that you need to disrupt the whole thing, but you definitely need to own the tech stack that you were spending money for, because as you guys have figured out, companies change, companies scale, companies get sold, companies close, like that happens all the time, right? So I want you to own that main marketing funnel. If you do it and your focus this year is like, how do I get as many people to consume this stuff as possible? The know part of know, like, and trust will set in automatically. And that's the number one agreement or number one metric that I would be focusing on, is set more appointments in 2026. So let's hit these numbers really quick again. $2,600 a month is going to get you 87,000 clicks per year. At 4% conversion rate, that's going to get you 3,466 leads, or about 288 per month. At a 6.75 conversion rate to an appointment, you're going to set 234 appointments. That divided by 3 gives you 78 transactions. At 12,875, that gives you $1 million gross business per year. These numbers hold true if the numbers are how they work in your business. So if you're getting the traffic to the site and you're not getting a 4% conversion rate, just take your ego down a little bit, look at the page and say, hey, am I making it really easy for somebody to come to this specific page and become a registration the first time they do it? If you're not, chances are you need to make changes. If you want us to help you do this, or maybe working with me one-on-one, we'll get you there quicker. Then I'll put a link in the description below. You can click there, schedule a call, walk you through exactly how we do the same framework in our coaching business that we can apply to your real estate business. Maybe it's a fit. All right. So that's the math to $1 million GCI business in real estate. Any questions? Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next one.